The studio lights were warm, the audience buzzing with excitement. Kelly Clarkson's daytime show had a reputation for being joyful, musical, and safe, the kind of place where celebrities laughed, sang, and shared heartfelt stories. Will Ferrell walked out to thunderous applause. He waved, flashed his familiar grin, and gave Kelly a playful bow before sitting down. Kelly laughed, clapping along with the audience. "Will Ferrell, everyone!" she said brightly. "I can't believe you're finally here." "Kelly, I've been emotionally preparing for this couch for years," Will joked, pointing at the seat. The audience laughed instantly. Everything felt light, comfortable, predictable. They talked about his latest comedy project, funny parenting moments, and his love for absurd humor. Will was relaxed, animated, leaning forward as he spoke. Kelly nodded, smiling, fully engaged. But then, subtly, the tone began to shift. Kelly glanced at her cue cards. "So, Will," she said carefully, "you've always been known for comedy, but some critics say your humor hasn't really evolved with the times. What do you think about that?" A few audience members murmured. Will chuckled at first. "Well, I think comedy's supposed to make people uncomfortable sometimes," he replied. "That's kind of the point." Kelly nodded but didn't move on. "Sure," she said, "but some people feel certain. Jokes cross lines now, that they punch down instead of up." The smile on Will's face tightened. "I don't think intention gets talked about enough," he said. "Comedy isn't a checklist. It's messy." Kelly leaned in slightly. "But when people say they're hurt by it," she replied, "shouldn't that matter more than intention?" The room grew quieter. Will shifted in his seat. "Of course it matters," he said, slower now. "But if comedy becomes fear-based, then it stops being honest." The laughter had stopped. The audience sensed tension. Kelly tried to soften her tone. "I'm just saying times change." Will looked directly at her. "People change." "Truth doesn't always," he replied. A beat of silence followed. The band didn't play. The cameras didn't cut. And for the first time, viewers could feel it. This wasn't playful debate anymore. Something was building. Kelly cleared her throat, attempting to regain control. "I respect you, Will," she said. "But as someone who talks to audiences every day, I hear from people who feel excluded by humor like yours." Will's jaw tightened. "Excluded from what?" he asked. "A joke?" Kelly blinked, surprised by his tone. "From feeling safe?" she answered. The audience gasped softly. Will leaned back, crossing his arms. "Comedy isn't meant to be safe," he said firmly. "It's meant to challenge, to reflect, sometimes to exaggerate uncomfortable truths." Kelly shook her head slightly. "But when you're one of the most powerful voices in entertainment," she said, "don't you think there's responsibility?" That word, responsibility, landed hard. Will leaned forward again, eyes intense. "Responsibility to who?" he asked. "And who decides that line?" Kelly answered calmly, but with conviction. "Empathy should decide it." The tension was now unmistakable. The audience was silent. Producers exchanged looks off camera. Will exhaled sharply. "I've spent decades making people laugh," he said. "People from all walks of life. And suddenly, I'm being told my work is harmful because it doesn't fit a moving target." Kelly responded gently but firmly. "No one's canceling you," she said. "We're talking about growth." Will shook his head. "Growth doesn't mean apology tours," he said. "It means honesty." Kelly paused. "And honesty sometimes means listening." That did it. Will stood up. Gasps rippled through the audience. Kelly's eyes widened. "Will, I didn't come here to be lectured," he said, voice controlled but sharp. "I came here to talk about my work." Kelly stood as well, palms open. "This isn't a lecture," she said. "It's a conversation." Will picked up his jacket from the couch. "Then this conversation isn't for me," he replied. The band remained silent. The cameras kept rolling. "I respect you, Kelly," Will added, softer now. "But I'm not going to sit here and be framed as a problem." He turned toward the audience. "Thank you all," he said politely, then walked off the stage. The studio erupted in confused applause, whispers, shock. Kelly stood frozen for a moment, then turned back to the camera. "Well," she said quietly, forcing a small smile, "we'll be right back." But everyone knew. This moment would not fade quietly. Within minutes, social media exploded. Will Ferrell walks off Kelly Clarkson's show trended worldwide. Clips circulated rapidly, slowed down, captioned, dissected. Some praised Will for standing his ground. Others criticized him for refusing accountability. Kelly addressed the incident the very next day. She sat alone on the couch. No band, no jokes. "I want to be clear," she said to the camera. "Yesterday was not planned. I respect Will Ferrell deeply. My goal was never to attack, only to have an honest conversation." Her voice cracked slightly. "And maybe I could have done better too." Meanwhile, Will released a short statement through his publicist. "I believe in comedy as a form of truth. I respect different opinions, but I won't apologize for engaging honestly with my work. No insults, no apologies, just a line drawn." The media debated for weeks. Talk shows replayed the clip. Podcasts argued both sides. Comedians weighed in, some siding with Will, others with Kelly. But behind the headlines, something deeper had happened. A cultural fault line had been exposed, not between two people, but between generations, expectations, and definitions of progress. Months later, Kelly mentioned the moment again in an interview. "It taught me that even respectful conversations can hurt," she said. "But avoiding them hurts more." Will, asked about it during a film premiere, paused. "I don't regret walking off," he said, "but I regret that it became about anger instead of listening." The audience listening that night applauded quietly. Not loudly, not triumphantly, thoughtfully. Because sometimes the most uncomfortable moments on television aren't scandals. They're mirrors, and what people saw in that moment depended entirely on where they stood.